Okay, I guess maybe we should start this game. I really don't know. I don't know what to expect. This is probably gonna be a shorter stream because this is gonna be like the tutorial level for the game. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes. New game. Turnabout Trump. Here we go. Wait, how do I select that thing? Is it just confirm? Oh, okay. Turnabouting. Please let me know if this is too loud. You lose. Sorry, showdown time. You lose. Ah! Ah! I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cop should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. April 20th. It's 420! Logan, still orange. I mean, we fixed the color a little bit. It was loud. Oh, yeah, it was loud, but I think it's like okay volume. Unless we think we need to adjust. I did buy the DLC, yes. Thank you again for letting me know about that. I don't know when I'm going to play it, but probably someday. Okay. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Panicked. Palms sweaty. Knees weak. Arms spaghetti. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Good morning. Who is this? Okay. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. What? Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise, is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial, and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine! I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. That explains it. I did detect, a certain rasping quality to your screech. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. This is Christoph. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. No, not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way! ... Who's this? Who's this bitch? Whoa! Good, morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So you're... Fine! I'm fine! Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. And he's your friend, so why... You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, It's time. Shall we? Yes, sir. How do I interact with my court record? Do I have to use my mouse? Do I actually have to use a mouse for this? I do, okay.
Unmute. Does his text say Papa?
It does. Who the fuck is Apollo? Is this Daddy? Yeah, it's Daddy. It's his hat does say Papa. New hair say Metroid Prime. That hat says Daddy. Yeah, it's definitely Daddy. God damn it. Attorney's badge. How long did I yearn for one of these? Just putting it on makes me feel ready. Smith's autopsy report. The time of death was around 2 a.m., April 17th. Death caused by single blow to forehead. Check. Shady Smith. Male. April 17th, between 1:45 and 2:15. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt trauma to the forehead. The crime photo. The sub-basement, the Borscht Bowl Club. Touch the check button for details. Thanks, Spoons. I knew I could count on you to troll it up. God damn it. Did I hear that right? Crime using... Yes, I have to use a mouse. I cannot tap my screen. Okay, so this is the crime scene. And we're back to the attorney badge. Okay, back. Oh, wait, we can look at profiles. This is Christoph Gavin. He is age 32, boss at Gavin Law Offices, first-rate defense attorney, and my trusted mentor. Crime, the baka you know and love now in watermelon flavor. I love it. My first client, just standing in front of this guy makes me nervous. Man, what a weird papa. Oh my gosh, hello! Paperette and Party of 5. Welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. You're late for court. Actually, no, you know what? We're still in the lobby of the courthouse. Just in time for spring, yeah. Welcome, Raiders. How was the rest of Dark Souls 2? I saw that you beat the Smelter Demon. Congratulations, Paper. Paperette's late for court, yep. Hello, crazy old gamer. Welcome. Welcome. How are you doing today? Okay, this is the victim, Shady Smith. Travel only recently back in country. Oh, okay. Okay, Apollo needs to focus. First trial. Here comes justice. (4:20), 10 a.m., District Court. Courtroom number 2. Good in you? I'm doing pretty good, doing pretty good. Okay. The court is now in session. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Ah, too late. Your name was... Mr. Justice? Then this is your first trial. Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin. Mr. Justice, first name Wet. Wet Justice. He's not a Pokemon. Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel? And then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Shit. Is Phoenix Wright Daddy? Papa? Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Is he homeless now? Yeah, maybe. Or a YouTube streamer? No, he's a piano player. He's a busker. Yeah. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne? To think I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Ah, Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bull Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and then he hit them, wham, on the head, smack, killed him cold. A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was... the pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright, a pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. That's definitely wine. It's definitely a bottle of wine. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Deadly bottle added to the court record. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record, right. I've heard of that. Use the court record button to look at the evidence, blah, blah, blah. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, the court record button. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. Hands-on mouse action. Bears the defendant, Mr. Wright's prince. The bottle is completely empty. Is that it? Okay. Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. What am I doing with my hands on a mouse? I have to fucking have one hand on a controller, one hand on a mouse. For the touchscreen part of this game, because it's a DS game. Okay, back. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. Traveler? According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant? Well, that, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime. If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing? That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself. Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the bassist? I read that as baddest sort of criminal. The basest sort of criminal.
Objection!
It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yes, it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again?
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present. And impress women.
That will be our first order of business here, then. Find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Hey, it's water. Apollo Justice No Touch Run. the traveler, the guy with the mess-up nose that took off with Wesley Crusher. Yeah, him. Okay. Phoenix Wright, a gambler. I didn't murder anyone. We're trying to prove that I didn't murder anyone. The competition. I am a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play in the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano?
Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination! Don't blow it!
Are you alright? You're sweating bullets.
Bullets? Where?
It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too.
My brain feels strained and raspy, sir.
You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? No. No.
No, thank you. No need for help here, sir. I think I've got this one covered.
I think you do better more than think. You know it. Or you do not.
I'm fine! The cords of steel are ready for battle. My weapons, press and present.
Find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it. Know it. Do it.
Inconsistencies? Lies? Phoenix Wright?
As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Live it, learn it, love it. Yeah. Very good winter mute. Competition. Okay, I'm gonna press everything. Wait, can I say? Hold it? Hold it! No, it doesn't work. It doesn't pick up my mic. Damn it! I wonder if I can set that up for next time. Hold on. Can I do that right now? I also save stated. I tried holding Y. Hold it! Config. Microphone settings. Use connected physical microphone. Hold it! Fuck. It didn't work. That's too bad. Man. That's too bad. I can't believe that's not an option. You can upload a sound file to have it play that. Oh well. Okay. The mic should be global. Okay. So, I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. Press. You can hardly play? Oh, this isn't the Canadian judge. This is the regular judge. Oh, I play sometimes when customers demand it. So I play them one song. That's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for the world at large. Then why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club? My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. They look similar. They're brothers!
Hold it!
They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional, after all.
Bah! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hardworking member of society like me to imagine.
Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?
I've played poker for 7 years in that little room. And I've never lost once. What? Do you see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw.
Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time?
As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? So, it's been 7 years, since the last game, I believe, took place in the timeline. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions.
Hold it!
The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. But black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. A smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. Judge needs to go on the bad man wall. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through the small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. Okay, the rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. there's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lines scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we used 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker you make 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. That's creepy. He's just gonna play some hand games. Okay. This competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right! It was a simple game after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment the crime occurred. Yet you claim no connection to the crime? Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. Ah! Oh, I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like made clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony. It's one little press. And I've got myself a whole new testimony. Learning the basics. I'm also gonna recheck this. We didn't get anything new yet. Okay. I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great. Like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Huh? Wait, something he said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now what was it? When you figure it out, I suggest presenting evidence, okay? Evidence that contradicts the testimony. Contradiction of Mr. Wright's testimony? But why? Why would Phoenix Wright lie? I better check the court record. I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. Need more information? Don't forget to press. Right! I got it! I'm fine! Time to listen to that testimony again. Okay. Mr. Customer's over at the poker table. Did I press this? What do we have? All that grape juice. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, what am I... what am I pressing here? I listened to that whole testimony, I'm not sure what to present. Hold on. A single blow to the forehead, and this is the deadly bottle that bears his prints. Hold on. Oh, there we go. It's literally this. Oops. Present. Objection! So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon. This grape juice bottle? Right? So I said. Is something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Hee hee hee. Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
What's this, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see. And it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about prints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove that he...
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean? I also really like the music in this game. Actually, I really like the music in all the games, but the music in this game is actually, like, really good. So I just turned it up. That's why I was talking about it.
It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and that there can only be one reason for that. Yes. To brain someone with the bottle. Ah!
Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh, I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything, you'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on the bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Objection!
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still, that...
Really?
Yeah, well, according to the case file, a murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Well, let's take a look at a diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in the basement 2 floors down from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the 1st floor of the restaurant.
I see. And this is the phone that made the call? Does he still have the same cell phone 7 years later? The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet, he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative?
Ah!
Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed! I assure you no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment that the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
Yee hee hee. You're as good as they say you are.
So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Andy was using his up until last summer when Belle forced him to get a smartphone. That's amazing that they, like, forced him to get a cell phone. Yeah, potato phone. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. Okay.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns.
So I use a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Well, if you're sure it's okay.
Now the prosecution. Wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yeah. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade.
And that would be...
My name... Olga Orley. Olga Orley. What is the... I don't know what the pun is behind this yet. Okay. My name is Olga Orley. I am employed as a waitress in Borscht Bowl Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was O'Reilly or Orley.
Olga Orally, I guess. I don't... She talk a lot? Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht in that naming borscht that is naming restaurant. But I also perform, how is it said, other service. I take it one of these other services is taking the customer's pictures? I can't do a fucking Russian accent. Like, for example, this one. That's... the defendant?
Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in white hat is one who had gone kaput. Indeed, that is the victim. Order, order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps. It is same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers. Casually. Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. Ola's photo added to the court record.
Now, witness! Where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in room, the hideout, we call it.
Excuse me? The hideout?
It is room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. Famous gangster bad guy. Is room where murder took place.
What?
Your look of utter surprise, it is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered and you will write which ones you want copy of. So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. Let's go look at the court record. Oh, in a second. Okay. I wanted to check this. Okay. There's a whole bunch of wine bottles there. It's definitely not grape juice. She is wearing gloves. While serving cold borscht? Wow, the batteries are held in with a piece of tape. He should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it, or he just doesn't care. Okay, was that it? When the witness was in this case a Russian waitress at the Borscht Bowl Club. Phoenix Wright is 33 in this game. Damn. We're almost the same age. Okay. Borscht can be served hot or cold. Okay, good to know. She was talking about serving cold, though. Okay. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he played the whole game with his hand on locket at his neck. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death. Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't that obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
Objection!
That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose. Justice. Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection.
But he hadn't lost in 7 years. Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as a prosecutor, either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips as they lay the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
I mean, yes. Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army and the chips are the spoils.
I know that, after all. In my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3.
I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of these chips are on the victim's side of the table. Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness. That fateful night. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game.
Hold it!
You were dealing cards. Do you do this often? I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. It is my work. It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service. Welcome you to Borscht Bowl Club, where borscht is as warm as the waitresses. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. It was cold. Both players played with hats on.
Hold it!
It's already April. How could it be cold? How's everyone's weather right now in April? At Borscht Bowl Club, we have pride on authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it is city in spring, but inside it is as cold as Mother Russia. No way am I going there. When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on locket at his neck.
Hold it!
His locket? I believe it was good luck charm, He gripped it many times as he played that night. Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket? Of course, I knew that. It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that. No, a locket's a locket. It doesn't matter. It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding? So what happened next? I forgot how to do his voice for a second. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened.
Hold it!
Something terrible? Ah! The defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing.
Now, Miss Orally, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, I was so frightened. Duh, I trembled with fear. That man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death.
Hold it!
But the defendant would never do such a thing. Ah! Well now, I can't say I've ever heard the defense try this tactic. Yeah, new hair, who dis? Hello, I'm Metroid Crime. I now have pink hair. How you doing with the fun, man? If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anyone do something like this over a game of poker? Oh god, this command just keeps getting better and better. You wanna see a pic? I don't know anything about poker. Let's look at this. Like, this is the winner, right? Definitely. Ace, ace, something, something, something. I mean, I can count and see what they are. I don't know which is a better hand, though. I don't play poker. It looks like they both had full houses? Okay. That's a good thing to know because I don't know shit about that. About poker. Perhaps it is because defendant has lost game. Oh, let's go back.
Yes, a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it always is with men like him. Winners make more sore losers. Oh, how the mighty fall.
Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do.
Right, sir, leave it to me.
There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, I've got you now, Orally. Okay. Okay. What should I present? It's probably... I'm probably gonna... Hold on. Which statement is it? I want to present the photo that says they both had equal hands. Hold on. The cause of death is being smacked over the head with something heavy. Oh, strangling him to death. A single blow to the forehead. I wonder if I have to present this. Let's set a save state. Okay, let's try this.
Objection!
Yes, we did it. Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. Duh, normal customers only choke on borscht. No, I mean this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Ah! Miss Orally, really now? Did you witness the crime? Ah! Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything.
Yet it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation.
Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck.
Oh, really, Miss O'Reilly? It is supposed to be Miss O'Reilly, isn't it?
I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more.
What do you mean? I found a contradiction.
There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. Okay. Such a thing as thinking too much. Yeah, does he have this locket on? He does not. He does there. Okay. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for a game. It was cold, both player played with hats on. His locket at his neck.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely doesn't have it on here.
Objection!
You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But, what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph. Look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on that victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this.
But what does it mean?
If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no?
Taking it off? Wait, you don't mean...
The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah. Good job, Justice, you have eyeballs.
Yeah, that's all you need to be a defense attorney, apparently.
And cords of steel. Defendant, what do you say to this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you?
Oh? You mean this?
Yes, it's a locket. With a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter.
Come again?
Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
So Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy this as just a coincidence? Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly.
Miss O'Reilly, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Da. Serious competition. Okay. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was with winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided. Defendant grab bottle from table and... Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I done. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright says he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Okay.
What change in testimony? We will find out about Phoenix's daughter later on in the game. 3,500 point in chip for each man. Okay. Are those the usual starting points? Were there any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules. Yeah, she's totally fucking lying.
If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be, exactly 6. No, 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. House chips come in two sizes, small and large.
Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Duh, of course.
What? Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Yes? Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips? Explain? What is there to be explained? Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip off the old block. Not a motorcycle cop. Not a... thanks.
Now that I've pressured her, I better ask her something. Let me see the chips. Let's see.
Check them.
Uh... 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Are the 6 ones... Are the 6 the larger? Oh, wait. The 6 are the larger chips, aren't they? Hold on. Now that I pressed her, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Niet. As I have been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. 2 types of chip. 100 points chip and 1,000 points chip. It is not money, duh. Justice. Sir, don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have added it to her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness to add this to her testimony? Yes. You're scaring her crime? Yeah, I know. She's lying! Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well. Witness, if you would be so kind. Your Honor. The other kind is worth 1,000. 2 kinds in all. Okay, so I should probably press this again. Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important. Looks like a lot of pressure his index finger is putting on it. Yeah, right?
To be honest, I have no idea why. Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. You're not in kindergarten.
Sorry, hold it, I'm fine.
I'd better think of something to ask. And quick. The two types of chips. Duh. The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000. Right? Right, of course.
Ah! Don't waste our time.
Is that all?
Yeah. Great. Mr. Gavin made me stop her, and now I'm the one who looks dumb.
Oh, Justice? Please try not to embarrass me like that.
Huh? Who? Me?
There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? The simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten after all. Calculation.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. All chips on table and leaves. Hold on. Should I present the picture of the chips?
Objection!
You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure.
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor.
In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth the 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in hand. And the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct, let's see. 3 plus 1, carry the 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now,
look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points, and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up...
How much is it?
Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. No, those are both right. Right? Both were right? Because... each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can be only one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness! Utter madness!
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why? That does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible!
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning.
Ah!
Now, Miss O'Reilly, Now, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you? Yeah. Order, order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witness's testimony. That plate catch really is a talent. It definitely is. Excuse me, what is it, Miss O'Reilly? I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss O'Reilly? What do we see?
in the last hand, there was cheat.
A cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting. Witness, you will please Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. Please testimony to the court. Please. Testify? Skeletor, you've gotten older. On the last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. Da. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Miss O'Reilly, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I had smelled a cover up here. Yeah, I want to see the picture too. I wonder if it shows the back of the hand of the cards. I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a full house?
Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker?
I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this? Some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair, and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Wow, they both have full houses. And so there's the ace symbols. I'm out of water. I need water. Okay. They both, oh, shit. Did my controller just die? My controller just died. Hold on. Save state. Yeah, okay. I will be right back. Drink battery. Battery drink. Oh, wait, hold up. I should finish this drink first. It's a very hard beer to get through. It's so sour. Okay. I'll be right back. Forever be right back. Yes, basically. Ugh, okay. I got a controller battery replacement. Let's grab some water. Okay. The kings look like they're both diamonds? Yeah, actually it kind of does, doesn't it?
We forget, there's an easy way to make a full house. And go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? The last hand. Both men had full house.
Hold it!
Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? It is quite hard, duh. It is making pair and then 3 of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult, to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of courtroom number 3. Very difficult, duh, but is not impossible. Okay, full house hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time. There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Press, yeah, I'm thinking that too. Let's see what else. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took the bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. I'm gonna press this. Might have to present something to that, but let's see. Let's press it first. How is it clear? Duh, well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace. A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's too.
Obviously, cheating was afoot, or perhaps I should say, a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Hold on. What? That's clearly not. What? Yeah. Yeah.
Objection!
What are you talking about? What are you talking about there, Olga? It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. Now, it's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. Which side am I pointing at? What was her testimony exactly? Right? That who played... The victim played 3 aces? Hold on.
Take that!
Miss O'Reilly, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Ah!
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Objection!
Take another look at the evidence. As as you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. I see cheating all right, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards? The cards? Mr. Payne. Yes? The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well. The prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, then nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? I guess it's probably the victim's hands, right? Yeah, it was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well. Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well! Okay. Can we inspect that? Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Grab some water as I'm doing this. Oh, hey, look at that. The card backs are red. For some reason, I thought they were using blue-backed cards in the final hand. Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, okay, so one's a heart and one's a diamond. Oh. Yeah, so it's this one that's the blue card, right? Yeah. King of diamonds. Unless all the other cards are suspect. Okay. Yes, sir! Oh. Okay, cool. Yeah, do it for me. Sure. When examining it, blah, 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 blah. Try using... Yes, okay, thank you. That should give you a... Thank you. That's tutorial. Let's tutorial for the thing I just did. Oh my god! The card backs are red. For some reason, I thought that they were using blue cards in the final hand. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Huh? Oh, which was it now? Okay. Well, has the defense found anything of relevance? I think I found nothing out. Perhaps you'd best examine the defendant's cards before leaping to any conclusions. Or maybe you'd rather examine these cards one more time. Well, do I examine the other hand of cards? Uh-oh. Guess I'll examine Mr. Wright's cards. Your Honor, the defense requests time to examine Mr. Wright's cards. I wonder what color they are. Granted, but make it quick, Mr. Justice. Justice is always swift. They're all red. Card backs are red. For some reason, I thought that they were using blue cards in the final hand. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Interesting that it's the same dialogue for both. Oh my gosh. Hello! Serendipity Sync and Party of 4. How are you doing? How are you doing? How is, I know you're playing VR stuff. Welcome. Hello, Jedi Studios. Hello, Slayer Shifties. Welcome. Blade and Sorcery. Oh man, I haven't played that. How was it? So yeah, hi everyone. I'm Metroid Prime. I'm playing Apollo Justice. Yeah. This is the very first case, of the game. It's the tutorial level, so, you know, super basic stuff. Introduction to characters. So if you've never seen the game, this is a good time to come in. It's kind of scary killing people. Interesting. Ooh, Hello, Slayer Shifties, welcome. Has the defense found anything they would like to share with the court? Not unless you count utter confusion. Okay, perhaps you'd best examine the victim's cards next. Again? Yeah, okay, let's examine the other hand again. Also, nice hair, thank you. Thank you. It's still really weird to look in a, mirror and see myself. Sing's an awesome player, I bet you are too. Oh, thanks. Well, I hope you think so. I'm playing a visual novel right now. This is Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. So if you ever heard of Phoenix Wright, this is in the same series. This comes out after the original series, the Phoenix Wright trilogy. And this is a Nintendo DS game. I know it's supposed to be pink, but you do look like the Wendy's girl. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to wear pigtails tomorrow probably for a stream, possibly. So yeah, there's been a murder and we're trying to solve it. Basically, is what's going on. We're in court. Rest in Greece. Rest in Greece. Okay, let's examine the victim's cards. Granted, but okay. I think we need this to present to something that she says. Justice is always swift. Okay. Oh, there we go. Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. Crime, your head's on fire. Hello, Darian. Welcome. Yes, I dyed my hair. The back is a different color. Ah! That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. What was that, Miss O'Reilly? No, I merely said, I have, Your Honor? Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean this witness? Miss O'Reilly? She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Yeah!
Unmute. This stream is brought to you by Wendy's turning Twitch into redheads, one streamer at a time.
Yeah, right? Wendy's, please sponsor me. Looks wicked stylish, thank you. I really like the color. It looks different, IRL. So why did she bring her fucking plates, leave them at home? She's a waitress, actually, so she brought her work she's in her work clothing. This looks like those pixel games from the 90s and 2000s. Yeah, a little bit. It's a bit, what year did this come out? I want to say it's like 2007, 2000. It's probably, this game's probably like around 10 years old. 2010, maybe? Order, order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, of her mistake. 2007? Okay, so it's over 10 years. Damn. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we had just heard. So we're gonna get we're gonna get some really old memes from 2007 in this game. What kind of memes were out in 2007? What are some good 2007, some hip 2007 memes? Because this game includes a fucking ton of memes from whatever, like, time it was released. Yeah, oh really, there we go, there's one. Oh really, Owl. Like a biggie bag with large drink and fries, bacon cheeseburger, and barbecue sauce for your nuggets. Nice. I love Wendy's. I'm not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about Wendy's. This is pre-ass eating. meme era feels like an eternity ago. Yeah, right? Okay. The LOL what pear or plum? Yeah. The apple? Like, also, like, is Prank Apple 2007? I don't know. Oh, are we doing emote only chat? Emote only chat. Do we have a mod to turn that on? And keep track of the time? Okay. If you're a VIP or a mod, please make sure to not use anything but emotes, or you're gonna get your message deleted. Okay, let's continue. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga O'Reilly conspired to cheat. Not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Ooh. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, are you? Time for justice. Oh my god, that's so fucking lame. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means... I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, of murder. Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly? It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice? Your Honor. It seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means? This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What? I did it! I held out! I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Objection!
Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous! Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get back to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before! The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You used different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I had this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was a swap. Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? I'm gonna say I think it's after the murder. Right? Makes sense to me. Perhaps it happened after the murder? I hope so.
What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Objection!
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh? Even when the backs of the cards have a different color? Are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Oh, is it word time again? Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for the follow, Slayer Shifties. Also, okay.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple, yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? What? Who? The game, and murder, is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card out for a blue? I was gonna say it's Olga, but I'm not... I think it's someone else. I'm gonna say someone else. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga O'Reilly either. What are you suggesting? That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit.
Yeah, it couldn't be Olga because of... She was talking about how... She thought there were 3 aces and there weren't.
Yeah. As for the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss O'Reilly at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Huh. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking about how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. The one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it was Miss O'Reilly. Wasn't Miss O'Reilly? Then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're gonna tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know 2 color cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials. Ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this is new evidence, shall we say. Sorry. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption? The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well. The trials will resume in 20 minutes. Wow, that was a really long case. That was almost 2 hours. This is only the first half of the case. I was expecting to blow through both of these cases today, both of parts of this trial, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I feel like it's going to take too long. So I feel like maybe we should save the next one for Wednesday. Let's finish this part up, though. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I'd think you'd know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I've no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir! The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? You're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. It's Phoenix's daughter! This papa hat. I'm just surprised to hear that you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? Hold on, is there... Did we get an updated profile? No. Okay. We get updated evidence of anything? No. Okay. Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago, what I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Eh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? You figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. We'll find out in time, Kid Boo. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. It's Edgeworth? Yeah, definitely. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No? Come on, who'd notice that? Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. It's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. Who's that someone? It's definitely Edgeworth. Okay. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. Oh, what's he talking about? But you will, soon. Almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know. I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Dick Nick's Mistress Gumshoe. Ghost Mia, old bag. Good guesses, everyone. Okay. To be continued! Save state. Yes. Actually, I should have save stated after this. Number 2. Okay, now save state. Dick. Nick's mistress gumshoes personal pool. Fuck. It's still 420, yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure the trial ladder part is also gonna be 1 hour, so we are gonna stop streaming.